Mention computers and you may well think of Apple. Mention chocolate and perhaps Cadbury. Mention hot air balloons and for anyone in the know, the name is Cameron. And we're joining its founder, Don, about 1,000 feet above Bristol. Don set up Cameron Balloons over 25 years ago, and since then his company's been making not just the standard hot air model, but everything from spectacular special shapes to the Breitling Orbiter 3, which has now set the record for the first non-stop flight around the world. We caught up with Don at the International Balloon Fiesta in Bristol, the biggest event of its kind in Europe. And where better to talk than thousands of feet above the Wiltshire countryside, with none other than James Bond's stunt pilot at the helm. So where did it all begin?
Well, I often get asked this question and I put it down to drink. I used to be a member of a gliding club and we would sit in the bar of an evening and discuss various flying things. And we started to talk about the new kind of ballooning that had just been invented in the States. And we thought we'd like to maybe try this. So after a few more evenings, we wrote to the States and asked how much it would be to buy one. And the answer came back from the only people who were making them there at the time, and it seemed far too expensive, so we decided to make our own.
Cameron manufactures the balloons from this factory in the centre of Bristol. The company exports over 80% of its products and has even won a Queen's Award for the achievement. Another string to the Cameron bow is using its balloon fibre to manufacture medical products.
We have a friend who's a surgeon who came to us with a problem for making little bags that go inside the abdomen during laparoscopic surgery. And balloon technology turned out to be ideal for this. So we have a little sideline in making these surgical bags, lap sacks they're called, and they're used by, in the new kind of surgery, the keyhole surgery, where the surgeon does everything on television and the little bag goes down to retrieve the parts that have to be pulled out.
The Fiesta at Bristol offers not just a chance for Don to show off his latest designs, but for the sponsors to promote their brands, covering the giant floating envelopes that are guaranteed to attract attention. While Cameron has a firm grip on the world market for balloons, Don maintains the competition in the industry is in fact intense.
The ballooning business has tended to be very low margin, mainly because of the fact that too many people get into it. They all get into it for fun, not for profit. I can't really be angry with them about that because I'm doing the same thing. But it has been highly competitive and very low margin. And in fact, some balloon companies have wound up because the margins are too low.
Cameron has taken on numerous special projects, ranging from manufacturing the trapeze and a giant globe at the dome to providing the stage covering for the Spice Girls. But it's manufacturing a balloon a day that keeps the company buoyant, and then there's always the flight projects to keep up the excitement.
The long distance flights tend to be one of the things I remember most. I've made a number of attempts to fly long distance, not using hot air balloons, but using balloons filled with helium. I made an attempt at one time back in '78 to be the first to cross the Atlantic by balloon, and we actually got within sight of the coast of France, but got becalmed and hit bad weather, and didn't quite make it. Did the last 100 miles in a French fishing boat, and to our intense annoyance, the American team did it 3 weeks later.
Back down to earth, and our pilot Simon demonstrates his stunt skills by literally parking the balloon on the back of the truck. Meanwhile, I met up with Don's daughter Hannah, who'd been chasing our balloon in the support vehicle. She's very much involved in the family business and shares her father's passion for ballooning.
No. What happened was, because we know the area, we're cheating a bit, I suppose, because we know the little shortcuts. But also it's a very calm morning. So, you know, as you see the balloons flying over, and particularly as some had flown ahead of you, we can kind of see the track that you were on. And then we just follow some of those balloons, park up, and we're just ahead of you all the way.
I was just saying to Don, actually, when you were down here, looking at all these balloons around you, probably most of them must have been built by yourself.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I can almost guarantee it.
You don't have to be particularly wealthy to take up hot air ballooning, but judging by the amount of flashy 4x4 vehicles beneath me, it certainly helps. Anyway, the best way to get started is to come to a fiesta like this, or even join a local club. And you never know, if you're lucky, you might even get sponsorship by somebody as prestigious as the European Parliament.